there has been an unexpected news of a 500 million XRP escrow burn. And if you pay close attention, this could be the most important thing to happen to XRP in a long time. The timing of this burn is what makes it so interesting, not just the volume. BlackRock, the world's largest asset management, surreptitiously filed updated blockchain-related documentation with the SEC at the same time as this happened. One of those papers? A fund called Boodle that wants to invest in tokenized assets. The crypto community is buzzing, and everyone is wondering the same thing. Is this just a coincidence or the start of something far bigger? Let's take a step back and go over the basics. Ripple's escrow system is one of the most innovative and open supply methods in all of crypto. It makes sure that tokens are released in a controlled way. Every month, 1 billion XRP is released from escrow. Ripple can utilize this to help with liquidity, pay for operations, or put money back into the ecosystem to keep things stable. Any money that isn't utilized goes back to escrow, which keeps the market balanced. The original purpose of this technique was to protect investors by assuring them that Ripple would not flood the market with tokens. But Ripple did something bold in the third quarter of 2023. According to their quarterly markets report, they destroyed a large amount of their XRP, almost $500 million worth, which indicates a change in strategy. What does this mean? Because a burn lasts forever. A burn, on the other hand, destroys tokens forever, lowering the maximum supply. An escrow lock, on the other hand, temporarily takes supplies away. In a system where supply and demand determine the value of tokens, that's a big deal. But here's the catch. Ripple hasn't burned this much XRP in the before. So why now? That's when things start to become interesting. Ripple confirmed the burn about the same time. BlackRock sent papers to the SEC for its tokenized asset platform, Adult. The goal of this platform is to make it easier to tokenize real-world assets on blockchain networks. BlackRock hasn't said which blockchain it plans to put Poodle on yet, but analysts and people who work in the blockchain industry have noticed something noteworthy. XRP Ledger, or XRPL, is a good choice for these kinds of institutional-grade apps. It has quick settlement, low fees, support from regulators, and infrastructure that can grow with BlackRock's needs. Could this be why Ripple chose to burn tokens now? As more and more people guess, experts say this burn could be Ripple's way of showing that institutions are ready. Big investors could desire a leaner, more deflationary XRP supply model before they put a lot of money into it. Keep in mind that BlackRock is not simply another player. It is in charge of more than $10 trillion in assets. If they start using or connecting with XRPL, even in a little way, it would have a big effect on XRP's long-term value, not because of price hype, but because of utility and demand. But that's not all we're doing. Let's speak about what this means for XRP's tokenomics. There are around 100 billion XRP in total supply right now, but a lot of it is locked up in escrow. People in the market think that XRP will be released from the escrow every month, but a burn changes the rules. It permanently takes away liquidity. It's not only about short-term price support, it's about changing the long-term trend in how XRP is shared. Burns make things rare, and in crypto economics, rarity is a big factor in how much something is worth. For a long time, many in the XRP community have argued about whether Ripple should burn additional tokens or let the market gradually absorb them over time. Ripple didn't want to use aggressive burn techniques until recently, but now that more institutions are using it and the rules are getting clearer in the US, the math may be changing. A reduced supply model could make XRP more attractive to big banks that want stable economies instead of unpredictable ones. So, it's also important to look at the timing here. It's important to stay up to date because the financial world changes so quickly. Ripple's legal clarity, specifically the July 2023 decision that XRP is not a security when sold on exchanges, has, taken away one of the key things that kept institutions from being interested. This decision has made fresh chances possible. If you add in global regulatory changes, like Europe's MyCA framework, which aims to create a unified regulatory environment for cryptocurrencies, and tokenization trends in the UAE and Asia, where digital assets are becoming very popular, the pieces really start to fit together. It's like seeing a complicated puzzle come together. Ripple may be getting the XRP ledger ready for significant institutional flows, which might change the market forever. And hey, BlackRock might be one of the first big companies to try it out, which would set a good example for others to follow. But that brings us to a bigger, more complicated subject. What happens to market liquidity if XRP is headed toward a model where there isn't enough supply? If tokens are being permanently taken out of circulation, which lowers the overall quantity, can XRP still be used as a bridge currency? The answer, my friends, is in velocity and use cases, which are very important for keeping liquidity. You don't have to hoard XRP to make it worth more. It needs to be used in a lot of different transactions. A store of value token, like Bitcoin, is different from a utility token like XRP, which does well when people use it. XRP's lack of availability doesn't mean it's locked up. It means making the best use of something and optimizing it. You only need a few tokens moving quickly along corridors to keep the money flowing without flooding the market, which keeps things stable. What is Ripple's plan? It seems to show this, though. Ripple is not stockpiling XRP for speculative spikes. Instead, it is building a lean, high-throughput payment infrastructure. In that case, the escrow burn shows that people are sure that the network will be in demand in the future. Ripple seems to be saying, we don't need to sell off our supply. We're betting on actual use. So let's take a step back. You have a burn of $500 million. BlackRock is filing for tokenized asset platforms. You have Ripple in the last stages of its legal challenges with more confidence. And you have a macro trend, the tokenization of real-world assets moving at rapid speed. Nothing about this seems random. The XRP environment is changing, and the recent escrow burn could be the first of many changes. If Ripple keeps lowering the amount of XRP that is available for trading, while demand for blockchain settlement rises, especially from big players, XRP's fundamentals might get a lot stronger. This wouldn't be because of hype or